Big, exciting, great news overnight as Mark Meadows, Chief of Staff to Donald Trump, reveals a lot of bombshells. One, a bigger stimulus check is going to be in the second stimulus package, says Meadows. Two, a deal could be hatched by the weekend, and that there is not just two people working on the deal, there's a whole flock of sheep. And who are those sheep? They're secretly Mitch McConnell's staff trying to get your second stimulus package, a 2.0 or $1.9 trillion deal, over the finish line. Three, that the numbers are looking better than they looked before. But will an executive order still also be on the books today? This is Magical Wednesday, 24 hours before the last presidential debate. A lot of big developments. This is Early Mornings LALATE. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Early Mornings LLA. Hope you're good and safe. It's really an exciting early morning to join in here. Thank you for tuning in. It is 3 a.m. here on the West Coast, 6 a.m. on the East Coast. It's before sunrise. I'm here, you're here, your dog is here, and the corn is here. Thank you for joining me. It's really, really blessed for joining me. Go to the Funnest channel, subscribe, because we're trying to reach 300,000 subscribers. It's really one of the best communities there is out there. Also, like this video. This is a live chat instant premiere, so you can chat on the right with all your Purple Power friends and family while watching this video live as a instant premiere. I thank overnight Dafool Christmas Simmons, Adrian Tardin Gordon, Grandma Ducky, and King Zamalek for their super chat donations on yesterday's videos. Wow, what an incredible day it is, and let me get to the breaking details that I'll be going over in this video. In this video, I will be going over those incredible remarks by Steve Mnuchin overnight, and Mark Meadows overnight, President Trump's Chief of Staff. And I'll be going over where we are with a bigger stimulus check, with a deal potentially by the weekend, and that secret army of people trying to get it done for you. And I'll be going over what the president has been saying about the stimulus in the last 24 and 48 hours. Moreover, I will be going over what happened with the gross national product predictions yesterday and what could be happening today. Really shocking developments. And finally, a new major report revealed overnight that says the vast majority of Americans, not even just a small number, a major amount, want Mitch McConnell's Senate to do stimulus this week and next week and not the Supreme Court nominee first. Boy, a lot of details, so thank you for joining in, and you can live chat as we start now. This is the breaking news. The breaking news is that Mark Meadows, Chief of Staff to Donald Trump, revealed details that are so jaw-dropping that I was even speechless when recording them last night on Evenings LLA. If you missed that broadcast, more developments just now. Let me explain where we are. First, there never was a deadline for Nancy Pelosi. That was just fake. She came back and walked back her own statements, even though she specifically said that there would be a deadline for Tuesday evening to get a stimulus deal done before the election. She now said, I didn't really mean that. I just said I want to talk about what this is before the end of Tuesday. Okay, Nance. Well, needless to say, Mark Meadows was interviewed by Squawk Box on CNBC, and his statements were categorically incredible. First, he said that the president is now putting in the second stimulus package a larger check amount. This, again, is not what we originally thought in the last 24 hours when we first heard about this, and I first detailed this on yesterday's early morning's broadcast. He's now saying a check amount will be larger. Oh boy. Then Mark Meadows said that he thinks that a deal will be reached by the weekend. That is what both sides are trying to do. And finally, this one is just like, I can't believe I'm even saying this, that Mitch McConnell, at the same time he's introducing his own bill in the Senate, is secretly working to get this done for the president. Mitch McConnell has dispatched his flock of subcommittee chairs in the Senate who are GOP members to work on the language of the bill with Nancy Pelosi overnight. Oh my God, this is just absolutely incredible. What is going on, folks, here? Well, 24 hours ago, President Trump said that we could take, when asked whether he can get GOP members to align with him, he says, we can take care of that problem in 2 minutes, he told Charlie Benson. He said, if we had something good, I think I could quickly convince the Republicans to do it. They're ready to do it, but Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to. I mean, I wish she would. If they sent over a bill, I'm ready, I'm able, I want a higher number than Nancy wants. Well, that was then. And now that language is sort of irrelevant at this point. And I'll tell you why. Because it's no longer a situation that Nancy is working in a vacuum with Donald. No. Now, House committee members, Senate committee members, the president's staff, Nancy's staff, everyone's staff is working together. It's starting to no longer be a two-person show. Thank God. Now it's involving a lot of people. Pelosi had said coming into yesterday, I'm optimistic we can reach an agreement before the election. To that end, we're writing language as we negotiate the priorities, so we're fully prepared to go forward on that. Now, when I heard that language, that statement, I sort of thought it was a little peculiar, and I certainly thought it was a little strange, but then Mark Meadows gave us the clarity. Let me explain to you why Nancy Pelosi's focus on language and how that impacts you for your stimulus check and your stimulus package items. Nancy Pelosi is referring to what we call a poison pill. A poison pill is that when there's a deal reached for the bill between her and Steve Mnuchin and it's sent to the Senate, then ultimately the Senate could change the language that would, in essence, make the bill no longer effective the way it was supposed to be. An example is the bill would say something like $10 to all adults 18 years of older. And then she sends it to the Senate, and the Senate says $10 to all adults 18 years of older who have purple hair and 3 ears. Well, that was a poison pill. That suddenly changed the purpose of my bill. Well, rightfully so, Nancy Pelosi is now having the entire efforts. We are luckily, you and I are lucky to now have the entire Senate and House subcommittees all working together so they collectively agree upon the language, and that all remains is the dollar amounts. What happened yesterday? On Tuesday, Mnuchin and Pelosi had a 45-minute call, said Mark Meadows in an interview with CNBC late yesterday. We made good progress, further progress today. We still have some numbers of open items that still remained open as of today. We have decided to work with some of the committees, Senate, House, Tax, or Operation, Health, or Human Services. We're not just down to different languages and a few dollars. We still have a way to go. There are productive conversations, and there's more to move on. The dollar amount has been a sticking point. The secretary has increased it with me from 1.1 to 1.3, 1.5, and now 1.88. They're not technically at 1.9, they're 1.88. Pelosi, is still at 2.2 or 2.4, depending on where she puts it. That's still several $100 billion apart. State and local spending is still unchanged. What we're trying to do is the policy issues. Okay, here it hits. This is the important part of the quote. What we're trying to do is the policy issues, the poison pills, working with the Senate and Mitch McConnell's subcommittees. So even if we get the language in place, all we have left to do is the numbers. This is categorically incredible great news because in essence, what they're trying to do is have the Senate, the House, Mitch, Nancy, everyone involved in the language. And that ultimately is not just two people. It's all bodies of Congress. Finally, we have asked for this for months, and finally, this is mirroring the first stimulus package. The first stimulus package took hundreds of people in Congress to get it approved, and hundreds finally got it approved. This stimulus package has been two people for 6 months arguing about much of nothing, and now at the 11th hour, finally they realize let's get everyone involved and let's get everyone focused on the language, and so now everyone's working on it. It's exactly what you and I and the Purple Power have been arguing for. But then it gets better. It gets better because he says, I spoke to the president several times today, and now the president, and here comes the bombshell at the 10-minute mark, just like old time's sakes on this channel. I've spoken to the president several times today, and if it's just a tax dollar, if it's just a dollar amount, we just want to increase the amount for direct payments to adults and children that have really been suffering under this pandemic. Direct payments are stimulus checks. That's another word for stimulus checks. So again, the president wants to increase the direct payments to both adults and children that have really suffered under this pandemic. This is incredibly great news, and this basically says that the power of the purple, the campaign that I launched last Thursday, hashtag MSC, multiple stimulus checks, has worked. This is what we were focused on, that a $1,200 stimulus check was not enough, that you need a $2,000 stimulus check, that you need multiple stimulus checks, and that sitting around with Nancy Pelosi's $500 dependent check bill and $1,000 dependent check bill is just not going to cut it. Well, what's cutting it is the push from the Purple Power. And the push from the Purple Power is making it very clear to Mark Meadows, the president, and everyone else that you have sat around for 6 months. And at best, you already had one check. You may not have had the first check if you were an adult dependent. And sitting here now, a $1,200 check, $500 check, $1,000 check, none of these amounts work. They're too small. Where we are currently is that Steve Mnuchin is at $1,200 for all adults, $1,000 for children, and Nancy Pelosi's at $500 for children, and $500 for adult dependents, and $1,200 for everyone else. Not fair. That's not enough money. Nor does the president think so. And so what about the agreement? Well, Mark Meadows says we're looking at some type of agreement before the weekend so that the agenda will be set for the legislation of both the Senate and the House in the weeks to come. How about the Senate GOP? He says the biggest hurdle is not the GOP. It's Speaker Pelosi, because we've offered a lot of compromise to increase the offer. And the Speaker has largely been unchanged, even though the numbers, she's come down the numbers, she's changed the timeline. The biggest stumbling block is our unwillingness to take yes for an answer. This is amid news of a new report overnight that the vast majority of voters want the Senate to focus on approving coronavirus rather than filling a Supreme Court vacancy, according to CNBC in a new poll. This is a new poll that says that the vast majority of people questioned believe that stimulus relief needs to be done now, not a Supreme Court nominee. How much? 2/3 of people voted nationally in favor of more stimulus right now. And 6 electoral states believe they should do it right away. This is how high of a priority is it? 66% of all U.S. Americans polled said stimulus needs to be passed right away. And in states that are swing states, Arizona, Florida, Michigan, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, 62% said it should be done right away. So just about 4% less. Still a very high number. As you sit here today, the poll numbers show that Trump should do an executive order today. This is Wednesday. If you've been watching me over the last couple of days, I've been telling you that this is the key day for the president to do executive order. Let me recap a couple things, because I have a lot of stuff coming up still in this video, so stay with me. First, the president can do executive orders down to the day before the election. He doesn't need to do executive orders today or tomorrow or the day after. He can literally do it the last day before the election. One viewer has dropped in the comments a confusing remark, which was he has to do it yesterday so that you get the checks. I got that. But I've been detailing that for a while. The president should have sent out stimulus checks, should have done executive order a while ago, so you would have the stimulus check in your hand before you actually vote. 28 million Americans have voted by mail already. I have too, have you? And so the impact of getting a stimulus check is less now because people don't have it in their hands. So the president's best next bet is passing and is writing an executive order on the eve of the election so that he says, hey, you're going to get a stimulus check in a week from now or 10 days from now and vote for me. And ultimately, he should do that today. Why is today the big day? Today is the big day because of the poll numbers. I'll go more of this in the next video, which is a really big issue, which is today is a very key day to turn this election around, and because tomorrow is the presidential debate, and because of a major new report about to be issued either today or tomorrow. It wasn't very clear from the news article. What is that report? A new report says that the gross national product will be announced this week for third quarter of this year. This is how big the economy. And it'll show that after we tanked, we went down 31.4%. We went down 31.4% in the second quarter of the year, the second part of this year because of the pandemic. We're reportedly going to come in at a upswing of 35%. This is exactly what Larry Kudlow loves to talk about. This is exactly what the president's going to talk about. This is exactly what the president's going to talk about in the Thursday night debate. And if he doesn't, then he's not prepared. It is a V by all accounts. This data, even though it's not comprehensive for the entire economy, it shows that after we fell 31%, our economy, we're now rebounded at 35%, even 4% higher than where we were before. Of course, the number is flawed, and I'll tell you why the number's flawed. Because the number does not presume that we're going to have another 35%. We're too far behind, and so hence two things have to happen. More stimulus, and second, you have to presume that there's not going to be another lockdown, and there will be another lockdown. So ultimately, you could go down another 35% right away. This is why you need momentum. And the analyst in the CNBC report says, how do you keep the momentum going? We all know it's going to get it. You know, it's not going to get another 30% next quarter, and it's going to drop a lot at the end of the year as the pandemic rises. The potential level for GDP at the moment is capped, so you see it to fall again. On paper, it looks very strong, but when you look at the data, it's not very strong. You could argue that's not a be-all number. You're still looking at damage to some parts of the economy, unemployment, and things like that. And this is really what is incredible news as we start the new morning. Let me go over some incredible comments from yesterday. And I hope you have, I hope you're still chatting on the right, because this is really a lot of fun, the live instant premiere. Video comments from yesterday were from Loretta. They need to stop playing with the American people. We're sick and we're tired of this whole mess. Glam lad nation. Like Nancy Pelosi cares about the children going hungry. Just do it. Matt Wheeler, our politicians are playing games with people's lives. Angela, it's crazy like Canada has helped their people. Robert, morning LA, hoping today is the day. Yes, I do too. Charlotte Anderson, vote them out. Paul Snyder, when he says chance, he doesn't mean multiple stimulus checks. Dina Brackett, it's so crazy they're playing with American lives. Nancy Pelosi's hatred for the president is so out of control. Deb Donna, I love my purple power friends. Heart, 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 heart. All purple hearts. I love that. Thank you, Deb. Well, coming up next at 6:30 is the continuation of Early Mornings LALATE. Join me for that recording. It's going to be a lot of excitement. Same thing, live instant chat, and I'll have more data about why an executive order is needed today, why the poll numbers support an executive order today, and what could happen in these 11th hour attempts to get the stimulus package done between Steve and Nancy. Very exciting. Hope you are good. Go to the front of this channel, subscribe. The butter is buttering, the toast is toasting, the coffee's brewing. I'm here, you are here, and also like this video. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and see you at 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care.